welcome and thank you so much for joining me, Alyssa Arundell, for your 2021 tarot card reading. I cannot believe we're in 2021. For this year, what we're going to do is pull 12 cards, and these 12 cards are going to symbolize each month of the year for your specific zodiac sign. In the middle of this spread is going to be what's called a significator card. So this is a card that is a running theme throughout your year, and then as each month comes up, we're going to compare this card to the card that you pulled for that specific month. So I hope that that makes sense. I will also be leaving timestamps beneath this video so that you can refer back to each month as you go throughout your year. So all you need to do is save this video in your favorites or something, and then you can refer back to that. Before we dive into this year's reading, I'd also just like to thank you for joining us for our daily show. Thank you for joining me for these monthly videos. It really does mean a lot to me. If you would like to check out your free 3-card tarot spread, you could do that by clicking on the link beneath this video. It's completely free. And if you would like to reach out to myself for a live one-to-one consultation, I'd be more than happy to work with you and to serve you in whatever way I can. But without further ado, let's get into this year's reading.
Hello Virgo, and thank you so much for joining me for your 2021 tarot card reading. Let's start off with your significator card, something that may come up for you time and time again this year, the World. So this is a year of new beginnings in many ways. It could also be that you are fascinated with or really honing in on what is happening in the world at large. So anything to do with environmental issues might be heightened, anything to do with politics, anything to do with just the world on a global scale is going to be really important to you this year. But your own inner world is changing as well. New cycles are beginning. This is the last card in the major arcana's journey before it starts off again as the Fool. So you are tying up loose ends, but also new beginnings are due to you this year. So the year starts with January, and the card that comes up here is the Knight of Pentacles. Knights represent messages, Pentacles represent our earthly plane and anything material. So you could find yourself hearing some news about your finances in January, particularly if you've been waiting for some kind of aid from somewhere or some kind of loan or grant, anything like that. I do think you're going to get some messages about your finances in January, inheritances, new business opportunities, new jobs if you're looking for work. So definitely keep your eyes peeled for that in January. Now, as we move into February, Virgo, you have the 5 of Swords. You're being asked to choose your battles wisely in February. You may win the argument, but just because you win the argument doesn't necessarily mean that you will feel good about it. Especially if you're hurt, other people are hurt. So if you feel that you can bite your tongue through something, that might be the right course of action to take. If you do, though, have to stand up for yourself, just be aware that even, like we said, if you do win the argument, you might still feel a little bit flat afterwards. Because of the fallout of what has been spoken about. So that's just some energy to be aware of in February. But you have got this World card, which, like we said, is new beginnings. So perhaps whatever it needs to be brought out into the open, whatever needs to be spoken about, may well happen sooner than you think. So as we move into March now, we have the Hierophant, or the Pope. This guy represents organizations in some degree, so you could be joining a new company, or you could be joining a new spiritual group, or really finding deeper meaning to your spiritual and emotional life in March. It's also a card of being traditional, so it's not really a month to think outside the box. We hear a lot now, think outside the box, follow your dreams, do what you should, follow your heart. I don't think March is a month that you want to necessarily be doing that, and that might sound really strange to say, but sticking to the rules, sticking to the status quo and how things have always been done might actually help you attain your goals much more easily and efficiently in March. So now, as we move through to April, Virgo, we have the Empress reversed. Now, the Empress is about feeling full, feeling fertile, and feeling like you have all of the abundance at your fingertips. But in April, you are being asked to make self-love a real priority in your life. Really care for yourself, care for your own personal power, care for your emotional needs. This isn't about giving your energy away to everybody else. There can sometimes be domestic disputes when this card comes up reversed. It can mean that you feel disheartened in some ways, or that there is some kind of distraction going on in your life and you're worrying. Really having a strong link with Mother Earth though, spending time in a beach or a park or a garden, breathing in some sunlight, is going to be important. Now, if we think of a physical birth, sometimes physical births can be very difficult. And say we are birthing, say you're birthing a new idea into the world, Virgo, and that is what you're trying to achieve. It can be painful at times. Sometimes things don't go straightforwards. And so I feel in April, looking after your body, looking after your mind is something that is going to be important, because you might feel a bit stagnant. Like we said, there might be some of those issues within your family life or financial life. Unwanted things might come into your circumstance. But the way that to deal with that is to emotionally and physically look after your own vitality. Now, as we move into May, Virgo, this is an interesting card to come up after the one we've just had. So May is the Five of Cups. This is feeling as though something has been lost, something has been taken away from you. And there is a bitterness that can come with this card. It's the typical explanation would be, say you're in a relationship for a long time and it doesn't work out. There can be a feeling of, oh, well, I've wasted time in that relationship. But there is always something to build upon. If something doesn't work out the way you expected, Virgo, in May time, there is this sadness or regret or disappointment. But instead of choosing to move forwards, there is, dare I say it, a bit of self-pity that keeps you stuck. And so May, you're really going to have to find your inner resolve to pull yourself out of that. This isn't about blaming yourself. This isn't about feeling like your life's victim. And this isn't about holding on to negative emotions. Now, forgiveness would be key when this card comes up, but I always get a little bit resistant when I hear the word forgive, because it's a lot easier to say the word forgiveness than to actually do it. Virgo, all I can say is if things are not going your way in that April and May time, please know that there are brighter times to come, particularly because your significator card is the World. You have to trust that, even if these 2 months are a little bit tricky. Now, as we move into June, things are moving forwards for you really positively. This is the Eight of Wands, so this is very fast-paced energy. Go, 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 get in. June is the month where you're finding yourself again, where you're pushing your limits. You've allowed yourself a couple of months to grieve about the stagnation and maybe the arguments, and it could have even been something that went back to this February time when you had to speak your mind and you felt in a little bit of a lull. But June, the light comes on, the fire is lit within you, Virgo, and you are getting your confidence back. You've had time to grieve, and now you are really on track to do some great things. Now, as we move into July, we have the Six of Swords. This is a card, again, of moving on. But the sadness creeps back in a little bit in July. But I wouldn't get too hung up about this. There is a brand new horizon. The Six of Swords is about moving forwards from those difficult things that have happened to you and taking those life experiences to maybe share with other people in order to help them. Now, this is a transition card. So for you in July, it is going back to that time of leaving behind what is familiar and starting again, because whatever it is that wasn't working, whether it's a relationship or your career, you found your spark back in June to do something about it, and July you are taking the action. You're packing your bags and you're leaving whatever that toxic situation is. Now obviously, even if we are the ones to leave, say, a relationship, and we make the choice to leave it, it's still hard, right? It's not just because the person has made the decision themselves, just because you are in control of the decision making doesn't make it easy. But I do think that in July, that is when the changes are going to actually really start to happen. So in August, you have the Lovers. Interesting. This could mean as soon as you've broken up with someone new comes into your life. Now, that's not necessarily what is always given to us as a sort of template to follow. You know, a lot of times people say, well, we need time to heal before we meet somebody else. And I think in a lot of circumstances that is true. But we can't always choose when our soulmate's going to come into our life. So if you are currently single, or you do go through a breakup in the start of the year, then perhaps this August time you could meet somebody. If this isn't about love in your life, this is about choices that you're making. The Lovers card in original tarot was named choice. So a choice between two things, a choice between two jobs, two places to live. I feel this is exciting. You know, you're mapping out a new future for yourself, Virgo. You're mapping out, and this could be an inner journey as well, mind you. So some things are really changing within, and you're making these exciting new dreams happen. And I actually think that this is really positive. Now, as we move into September, we have the Ace of Cups. Again, this is about love, romance, abundance. If you're in a relationship, the commitment deepens. Maybe you get engaged, or maybe now is the right time to start a family if it wasn't earlier in the year. So, yes, September, I do feel a month of an abundant love coming in. Loving yourself, loving who you are, loving the life that you've created. Really moving forwards from that stagnation and that upset over what has gone by, and moving more into a different type of future now. Now, as we move into October, the card that comes up for you, Virgo, is a lovely card of the Nine of Pentacles. The Nine of Pentacles is about harvest. So this is you starting to see some of the results from all of your hard work the entire year. You know, if we go back to that significator card of the World, this is when things are starting to fall into place even more. So, you know, this time of year, this October time of year, this harvest, this abundance, this bringing in of the new. If you think about, you know, harvesting a field, it is still hard work. You still got to work at stuff. You can't just sit and rest on your laurels, but at the same time, seeing those rewards come in, seeing your hard work manifesting, I think October you can actually start to breathe a bit of a sigh of relief. Now in November we have the Empress, so it's time to get really structured, organized and disciplined in November. I think as well for many of you that this could represent your father or your masculine energy or a significant male in your life. And this isn't always an easy relationship. For some of you it's going to be someone you admire, and for some of you it's going to be somebody that you perhaps have a very hard relationship with. I think there's some reconciliation going on in yourself. And you're beginning to really heal over any relationships that you've had, particularly with males in your life, that have not been pleasant, for example. So a lot of healing from that coming through in November, but ultimately you're getting very organized and disciplined in your life. You're taking your health very seriously. You're taking your finances seriously. And serious does not mean boring. Serious means that you're getting in control of your life in quite beautiful ways. And then December, the last month of this new year, you have the Wheel of Fortune. We'll look at that. Another major arcana card. The Wheel of Fortune paired with the World. Guys, this is incredible. This is complete full circle. Your year is like a perfect wheel. It has all different types of elements in. You know, we recap here with January, messages about your finances. February, getting into some kind of argument, perhaps. No one wins. You could be feeling upset about that. Then March, you're sticking to the status quo. You're thinking with your logical mind. You're doing what you know and you feel is right. And then in April, there may be some disharmony within your family life. And as well, in May, you might be leaving something behind. There's a bit of bitterness with that. But in June, you have found your fire. You've got your fire back. You've got your self-confidence back. July here, you know, you're moving forward in a new direction now. August, a new chance at love or choices that are going to really benefit your life. September, full of that abundant love. October, financially harvesting rewards. November, getting really serious about what you see your future as. And December, taking that leap, starting that new adventure. You've got all your ducks in order, so to speak. And it's really quite an exciting end to what has been a fulfilling year in many ways. So Virgo, I am looking forward to this year for you, even the parts of it that are going to be tough and glitchy, because you're going to learn so much from these experiences and really come out on top.
So there you have your 2021 tarot card reading. Thank you again for joining me. It really does mean a lot, especially those of you that join me month to month. You've been with me since I started doing this on Patrick's channel, so I'm really, really honoured to share this time and space with you. If you haven't checked out our daily show, I'd really love you to come along for that ride as well, because it's so much fun and we love being with you every single day. And it's just an honour to have that, really. So I hope that this spread has given you some idea of what you could potentially expect energetically this year. I just want to wish you a peaceful new year. I really hope that you are safe wherever you are in the world, and that you your families, friends, those that matter to you are also safe. I'm sending you lots of love for this new year, and I really hope that things pan out in a way that is beneficial for all of us on the planet. So until we speak again in January, take care, stay safe, and speak again very soon. Alyssa.